Bunch of small cut cedar, fresh branches, hold the most sap. That'd be spruce, and hemlock's in here somewhere too. I think that's hemlock right there. This is a bag of all the needles from all those same trees. Put them in a sack so they don't end up in your water and you have to strain it in the end. Fuck your wax. Water's been boiling for a while now, just starting to steam. And all I'm gonna do is throw all that shit in the pot, and then I start to let it boil and do its thing until I'm done pretty much fixing all the triggers on the traps and organizing them all and making sure they're all in perfect condition, and I'll take everything out and add wax. Stay tuned. Everything's all in the pot. You can already smell the super strong aroma. Idea is trying to extract all the sap and make the water smell exactly like, well, the bush and where the traps are going to be placed. And then that should transfer into the wax and then transfer onto the traps. Just took out all the sticks and needles and everything, and you see the color of the water now. It's almost virtually impossible to see through and pretty much very, very, very dark brown. Smells insanely like pine trees and cedar trees. Here's all the stuff that I took out. Used a little fish net to actually get rid of the rest of the needles. Yeah, over here. This guy, that worked pretty good. The needles do sink, shouldn't get in your wax, but still, why chance it? Just getting her back to a boil, and then I'll add this giant blocks of wax and let her get to a rolling boil, and then start adding traps. Now that we're back to a rolling boil, I've broken up all the wax into smaller pieces, and you just slowly add it and wait for it all to melt. This is the part that smells the best. You can see I've added all the wax. Like I said, just waiting for it to melt and then for it to become a rolling boil again. Gone through all the traps and picked out all the ones with the broken triggers. Everything's not too bad. I'll work on fixing those while the beeswax melts. Surprisingly, that little pile is the only ones with broken triggers. So right now, see all the wax is melted, but I'm just gonna give it another, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes to really get that wax to boil and blend with the water and all the pine and spruce and cedar shit that I put in there. You can kind of tell that the wax is finally mixed up with the whole water solution. And next step is just to start setting traps in. Nice and gentle, try not to splash yourself too much. Hot, so interesting to see how many traps I can fit in there at once, which is already, wow, yeah, that's way more than I can fit my last one. Definitely make the process faster. I'm just gonna leave it like that and see what that does. Now the idea is to leave them in there long enough that the steel heats up to the same temperature as the water. That way there's not too much wax on them, but not too little. I'd say about 5 minutes sitting in the pot once you start boiling again. That's kind of the idea, or at least what I've been taught. Always make sure you have some sort of a drip tray. That's the point for the aspenite here, and try to keep it clean because there is going to be excess wax dripping off the traps, and you don't really want that on your garage floor unless you do. Yeah, it's been about 5-10 minutes. And you do is load your traps. Let them kind of drip for a few seconds there. So just wasting a bunch of wax. I have this nifty little hook that Grandpa gave me, no idea where it came from, but it's got about 300 years worth of wax on it. And then set it down to your plywood to cool off and dry. Take them out, give it a shake. You already see the wax building up on this thing, and then see how it's white? And it looks like it's going to flake off, and that is because I didn't let the hook obviously get hot enough to actually allow the wax to stick to it properly. And that's what all your traps will look like if you don't let them heat up enough. I made that exact mistake once, and I had to go back and reboil all my traps. Just filled up the pot fully to see how it works, but you can tell like right there is just a trap. As long as it's about 2 inches or whatever underneath the surface, they're pretty well good. So I'll see how this batch runs. Like I said, it's a brand new pot, but everything's looking good. The ones I just did are drying off nicely. We'll see how they turn out. You never want to really use any type of paraffin wax or anything like that. Like this is all 100% beeswax, because the paraffin wax, when it gets cold, it has a tendency to chip, and it can leave ruts in the guide for the springs and end up creating a little groove and slowing the trap down, and it just kind of defeats the purpose of waxing them in the first place when it just falls off. Beeswax stays malleable for the cold weather, hot weather, you name it. See how shiny and whatever they look like when they come out, and then the dull, nice dark color, perfectly evenly waxed, no ridges or bumps other than the scars that the traps normally get in life. Just the perfect little layer. You can scrape it off with your thumbnail almost. Compared to those, and then compared to the rusty old pieces of shit that happened 1 year. You can see how since the start of this process that water was fairly clear and the wax was kind of yellowish, but this is what I was hoping would happen. It's just all the old wax from the traps and the dye and the dirt and rust has turned that to really, really dark brown. And this is exactly what I was hoping would happen. You can see the traps, even with the new ones that are quite shiny, it's kind of got rid of that sheen on them, and is really helping them out big time. Some of them actually turn black. These ones look really, really well. Those are all the done ones. Just got 330s to do. All the 220s, 120s are done. Let them dry and cool down. I should have counted how many 330s I could fit in here, but I definitely know it was over 10, which is amazing. I used to only be able to fit about 5 maybe in my last pot. Almost done. Definitely a way smoother process than normal. Happy with this new pot. Well, that's the end of the process. All the traps are done. Just finished all the 330s. You can see the insane amount of wax buildup. Like I was saying, you don't want that on your floor. I will eventually. I'll keep using this piece of plywood from years to go, and once it builds up like crazy, I'll scrape it and put it back in the pot. But number one rule is definitely don't let the water out until it fully cools down, as you'll lose all your wax, because obviously it's liquid right now, and once it cools down, it will float to the top and settle at the top in a perfect disc, and then you can just pull the disc out, and that's why there's a spigot on the bottom. You just open her up, drain all the water. The disc can even stay in there. You can pull it out, whatever. Anyways, that's how to wax traps.